Yo, what is good, everybody? BGFX here, man. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm gonna be doing a breakdown of a trade that I recently took in the market. So I ended up taking this on a $100,000 live prop firm account. Ended up gaining around 4% in 30 minutes. So that was a $4,000 trade. So of course, prop firms are gonna have a profit split model, so they ended up keeping 20% of this while I keep the 80% profit from my trading. Without further ado, we're gonna go straight into it. I want to make this video, man, because we're kind of at a place within the trading industry right now where there's a lot of opportunities available that were not available when I first came into the market. When I first came into the trading industry, there wasn't really any type of opportunities to get funded like this, and if there were, it obviously wasn't popular at the time. But nowadays there's a bunch of different companies that literally will fund you, and I just want to make this video, man, because obviously this is something that a lot of traders have made it a goal to accomplish, which is getting funded and getting paid out with a prop firm. So I just want to make this video, talk about my journey, as well as get into my trading style that allowed me to do this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys get some motivation out of it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and look through the MT4 really quick so you can see the trades that were taken on the account. So you can see that obviously there wasn't many trades that actually needs to be taken. This trade here, Euro USD for 20 lots and 50 cents. This was the main trade that's pretty much responsible for the entire payout. Now, if I wanted to continue to trade this account, I could, but being that it's December, I really don't want to expose too much risk in the markets. I'd rather just kind of sit on this account and let the payout hit later in early January. It'll kind of be perfect because the payout will hit around the same time I'm gonna start trading again. You can see that 42.43 was the profit, and if you look at the top, it says 15.17. This was the opening time of the position, and then the closing time was 15.52. So that was a little over 35 minutes later. I ended up getting out of this trade, and then the commission was $102, which is fair enough because it's really not too much compared to the overall gain on the trade. And then above it, I have a trade that was minus 200. This was a trade that I actually took the day before, and this trade here was running like 2,000 or 3,000 in profit, and I moved my stop loss to break even. Then it ended up coming back to my entry price, and it took me out for around $200 plus the commission, which was $300. You see the deposit was on the 23rd. I really didn't get too much time to trade it up until December, early December. And then I took the first trade, which brought me to 99,700. And then I took the next trade, which brought me up to 38.41. So it just goes to show managing your positions is also really important. I try to keep my losses very small compared to the size of my winners. So all I needed was one good trade here, and that allows me to get a pretty decent payout. And if we go to the screen, 103,841, and then let's put this down really quick. Let's get it focused so you guys can see that it is a Royal Challenge funded with 8 cap, and the server is 8 cap LTD Real 2. So the funded trade at Royal Challenge. Now, what you guys see here is the actual trade that I took in order to profit on the account, but we're gonna get into that in a second. I'm gonna pretty much break down the entire trade and what my thought process was that allowed me to take advantage of the setup. Now, if we go to the prop firm website, this is where they'll pretty much tell me the statistics and everything about my account. But if we scroll down, you can see that the trade was here, Euro USD for 20 lots with a profit of 41.41. The reason it says net profit, obviously, is because the trade itself was 4,200, but we do, of course, have the commission for 102. So that's pretty much it, guys. You can see this kind of the basics of everything, the account, the dashboard. So now we're gonna go ahead and get on the charts and kind of talk about this setup and how I was able to capitalize on it. And hopefully you guys can get some value from it. Let's get into it. So if we take a look at the setup, you can see that this is a 1 to 5.41 risk to reward. The stop loss was 4.1 pips and the take profit was 22 pips, right? My stop loss could have been a little bit tighter. It definitely could have been moved up to here, and I could have increased the risk to reward a little bit. However, I did want to factor in the spread. I decided to have my stop loss be a little bit wider for this one, but we still were able to get 5.41 RR on this. Now, let's just say you were risking 1%. If we multiply 1,000, which would of course be 1% of 100K times 5.41, you see that this type of trade would have made you about 5,400 if you were risking 1%. So for me, I risk a little bit less actually than 1%. I risk around 800. So if we multiply 800 times 5.41, you can see that it's 4,300. So this is more, this is a bit closer to how much I actually made on this trade. And then once again, this trade lasted me a little over 30 minutes. Let's go to the dashboard really quick. You can see the equity on the account is 103,841. Let's go to the request payout button right here. And that should be January 5th, 2023. That should be a $3,000 payout, 3072 to be exact. And the overall profit on the account is 3841. Now, this doesn't include the refund, so of course I'm gonna have to get refunded with that for the challenge fee. But overall, it should be pretty much a smooth process. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get to the charts and kind of break down the trade. So if we go ahead and we take a look at the setup, see that we're currently on the 1 minute time frame. Now, this trade was taken around New York Open, a few minutes after New York Open to be exact. So if we throw this on the screen, the red here, of course, is going to be when New York starts. Now, what I was doing on this trading day, the first thing I wanted to do during this trading day was kind of get a bias or get a understanding for what price was more than likely to do. Now, if I look at the overall trend, if I come to like the 15-minute, just to kind of get an understanding of the recent direction, you can see that at this point, we were trading upwards, right? We were trading upwards. We were kind of moving upward for a short period of time. So now we're right here on the 3 minute time frame, and this is where most of my decision making actually happened at. So if we take a look at this zone that I drew out, you can see that it says strong selling volume and bearish OFV. Now, bearish OFV is basically stands for order flow volume. So it means the direction in which there are more orders flowing in. So if we have strong bearish price action, right? Strong bearish price action, that means there is a high volume of sell orders coming into the markets. The markets move based on buyers and sellers, supply and demand. If there's more supply within the markets, price is going to go down. If there's more demand within the markets, price is going to go up. You know, from my point of view, from my research and what I've learned over time, the market moves just because of buyers and sellers. It moves as a response to us, right? The masses. The market just responds to whatever we do. So an influx of buy and sell orders within the market is exactly what moves it. That's why the market either moves down or it moves up. So right here, this aggressive move down, of course, to me was an area where we had a lot of sellers come in and push price down. It came down, and this was pretty much the low that it made, and then it started to trade up. Now, when we approach this zone, I wanted to ask myself, you know, what type of characteristics are we going to see within price as we return to the zone? And what you actually see here is a small amount of interaction. Now, that interaction to me is sellers being tested, right? That's the question that's going to come up. Will sellers be able to hold this zone, and will they roll price over, or will buyers come into play? So there's always going to be a decision made within the markets at this time. So for me, you could see that we had price pushed down a little bit. This was simply sellers kind of interacting with the zone, because it's obvious that sellers were really strong at this price, you know, previously. However, they were tested, and you can see that buyers came in with more aggressiveness. Now, this is what I mean by, you know, understanding the characteristics. Not only did we kind of react off a little bit, creating this little down move, we seen aggressive price action up. So for me, it was important to see that aggression, and that aggression kind of shows me like a change of hands within the market. Now, understand that like all of this just started to create my daily bias. So when price was like at this point here ranging, I did not have like a point of view of really wanting to buy or really wanting to sell. You know, I was just observing and using all of this to create my decision. And as traders, you know, our decision making is important. I really think that your ability to make decisions and formulate a bias is what's going to make you profitable, because there's going to be profitable traders with thousands of different strategies. You know, the one common denominator is that they make good decisions. They manage their risk, they're in control of their psychology, and they think clearly. They think very logically. So what I seen here, BOR basically stands for the bottom of the range. Now you have to understand there are ranges everywhere. There's a high into a low here, that's a range. There's a high into a low here, that's a range. There's a low into a high. This little up followed by the mitigation, followed by the move up. This is a range. There's ranges everywhere. But for me, I want to go ahead and ask myself, what is the most probable ranges where we have a definite possible direction after the mitigation? This is what, a lot of smart money is based around. People that look for order blocks, people that look for supply and demand. It is around that similar methodology. So for me, we had that strong push up, and then we mitigate this little down move, which you can call the demand area, you can call the order block, whatever you want to call it, right? So this line here is what I was looking at as a potential little internal low to be swept just for the mitigation. And what we seen was a change of control. So an area where sellers obviously had control within the marketplace, and then we trade back up into it. Sellers get tested, and then buyers come through with aggression. So the aggression was very important to me to see. Buyers came through, pretty much wiped that zone. And then the origin of this, right? This shows an area where strong buyers come in. So as a return, as the markets return to it, that shows a possibility where buyers can continue to kind of rise up. And then TOR, of course, is just the top of the range. And then what we have up here, so the first zone, which is purple, and the second zone, which is gray, this is two areas of price where I believe that sellers could have took over at. So not only did I want to buy after buyers took over and then potentially mitigated my zone, I also understood that the top of my current range was weak. It pretty much held no weight, so it was a weak high to me. So that pretty much all kind of combined together, and only just, it made sense for me to buy, because if the high was going to be weak and this low looked like it was going to be strong after the interaction and then aggression through the previous area where sellers were once strong, it only made sense that we were going to see like an extension of the trend to the upside, right? So let's erase this here. And then HP is just the highest point. So that was the highest point of price after buyers took over from my zone. So bottom of range, top of range, mitigation here. And this mitigation is a return to the origin of where buyers were strong enough to wipe out the supply and create new demand within the market. So it's just a flow of buyers and sellers. And then, yeah, so highest point of price is this zone here, which is just a lower time frame area before a strong drop. And this highest point was literally the same thing. It was simply a small up move before that aggression to the downside. So that was pretty much my outlook behind it. I just, got on the charts and understood that we were bullish for the most part. We approached the zone, we cleared it out, mitigated, and then continued up. So this was just a simple breakdown of the trade that I took, which profited, a little over 4,000 in 30 minutes while risking less than 1%. So it just goes to show, I literally spent $400 on this account, and I'll even go to my order list now so you can see it. I literally spent $415 on this account on November 6th, and it's going to be paid out for 30-something hundred, so that just goes to show not only is the opportunity of a prop firm good, but it's the skill set, it's the value within the skill set of a good trader. So all you should focus on is the skill set, getting better, refining your psychology, read trading books. It's all really crucial, and that's what helped me, man. So I'll follow up you guys when the payout actually hits. It's going to be January 5th, I believe, is when they're going to send it to me. But yeah, man, we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. It's been BG. I'm out. Peace.